What is up, guys? Zach Ginn here.
Rick Ginn here.
And in today's video, we are live in Mexico. And in this video, I really want to talk about how to virtually wholesale real estate anywhere from your computer. I really want to talk about how we're currently doing it in our real estate wholesaling business. And that's what we're going to do today. So first of all, everyone's asking, like, who are we? What are we doing? Why are we not in our studio, right? Where's all the fancy stuff, right? What's going on, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, guys, we are marlin fishing in Mexico, and I think someone's seen some of the pictures. As I showed some yesterday, and I'll probably show some extras later today. But guys, we went to Mexico to do some marlin fishing, and it's been amazing, right?
Yeah, it's fun.
I mean, how many marlin you caught in your entire life for this trip?
One,
and I think we got 10 yesterday, so like a stupid amount.
Yeah.
It's been over 30. It's been insane, guys. So we really want to do this trip. This is a really exciting fishing trip. So we have a lot of vlog footage on it, all this stuff. But truthfully, the coolest part about this was we were on these boats 40 miles offshore, right? Mm-hmm. And we still get LTE out here. And all I have is my phone right here. With LTE, I'm getting sent deals. I got my team texting me. I got my Gmail coming in, right? Like I got all my emails. And I'm still communicating with my team and looking up deals. Why? Like go 40 miles out, it's like an hour, right? I can just check my phone and still wholesale. Guys, at home, how much do we work a day? Like 2-3 hours a day? Like in the business, guys, it's an hour each way for fishing. And then like when I'm home here, I mean, in the hotel here, like I can still wholesale virtually. And honestly, like we figured a way to hack the code. And the truth is, if you have an internet connection, you can wholesale real estate. And we have an internet connection now, and we can do these live stream for you. We can help you guys out. And honestly, what we want to do today is kind of break down how you can virtually wholesale, you know, not maybe do a 6-figure a month business like we're doing, but maybe in a business where you can make 6 figures a year, not a month, but a year on your computer, anywhere in the entire world. We have such a huge, pretty much international audience watching this. And we want to teach these people how to do it too. I mean, we got a lot of people from Mexico watching us, and we can teach them. I can wholesale in Mexico like anyone really can. So that's what we're breaking down today. And we're going to break down kind of how I'm doing it, how you can do the same way, and sort of the process of it. So before I get into it, do me a big favor and smash the like button and subscribe. And we can get into everything about how to wholesale virtually. Smash the like button, hit that subscribe button. Also, comment below your questions. We'd love to help you guys out with the entire process. Before we get it going, I got get you guys jacked up to learn wholesaling real estate. So I don't care where in the entire world we are. The intro still has to play. So
let's do it.
Let's get into it. Woo!
Get the fuck out of bed, bitch. Go. Get up, and they got go. Time to wake up, bitch, get up. Get up. Get up.
I love it, guys. So all things real estate. Let's get this going first. Got my first $10,000 check in the bank today, thanks to Rick and Zach. So
all right.
Shout out to you guys. We don't need any fancy equipment just to tell you congrats. So guys, we're virtually wholesaling, and that is what we're going to talk about today. We've helped so many people learn how to get the first deal virtually wholesaling and the entire process. So let's break down from the start, right?
Well, can we teach wholesaling without like fancy equipment and everything?
I don't need it. Like,
guys, you got to understand, so many people are vying for your attention that it's the content that you really listen. We do have a nice studio. It's nothing crazy, but at the end of the day, it's the content you want. You can go get entertained on Netflix, Hulu, all the other stuff. But like when you tune in, try to find people that are actually going to teach you how to do it. The ones that will actually engage to you and not just repeat the same fluff over and hold back. And once you pay, then you get a course. So we're going to kind of show you today how you can do this from anywhere, because if you do wholesaling right, it will give you the lifestyle you want. I'm a very passionate, like, fisherman. I love the outdoors. I haven't always traveled as much, and now I've made a commitment. And what better way to do it with my son, going out and chasing marlin in like exotic locations. And I would tell you, I've traveled like cruise ships, like to Mexico and stuff, but like when you come and stay, it's just really cool to see other cultures, isn't it? Just
it's
like
insane.
Like, you don't realize how good you have it at home, but people are people, and the real estate here, oh my God, like some of it's just insane.
It's crazy. But guys, we're gonna break down the vlog, everything about it. Like, it's gonna be really exciting. We got a lot of awesome footage for you guys. A lot how kind of the nitty gritty of how I'm wholesaling, more or less on the boat, how I'm doing it everywhere. But really, let's kind of break it from a macro perspective. And guys, we're chilling out. I got my Mexican Coke. I think I've drinking like 15 of these in the past 5 days, but
I don't know what kind of water. All I know is
agua.
bottled water. Yeah.
But guys, I can kind of just check everything out here. Food's been, I had the greatest burrito of my life a couple days ago. I'm still
twice cooked chicken is something special.
Oh,
I didn't even know
crazy.
you could do that.
But so we are wholesaling virtually. So let's kind of break down what virtual wholesaling real estate is versus regular wholesaling real estate, and kind of a breakdown of the entire process. So the number one thing you need to understand about, let's kind of break down wholesaling real estate, right? We find somebody who wants to sell their property, right?
Mm-hmm.
We put the property under contract. And then once we lock it up, and we get into a title company. And then once we bring it out here to a title company, we find a cash buyer who's going to buy that contract from us, basically for a finder's fee. So if I lock it up for $100K, I find a cash buyer for $110,000, right? And then I can sell it to them, basically do an assignment of contract for a $10,000 finder's fee, make around $10,000 on the transaction. And that's pretty simple. Usually in regular wholesaling real estate, we have to go in person for this. But in virtual wholesaling real estate, what's the difference between the two? You just don't go in person.
That's it.
You got your phone right here. You literally lock it up over the phone. It's not that complicated. It's just doing the same thing that you say in person, but you do over the phone. You have an e-signing service, so the contract is just going to be on the computer, right? Same contract we have, we give to you for free at freewholesaling.com. Yeah. And it is the entire same process. So many people really complicated. And the only thing you really have to change is sometimes your verbiage. You might have maybe an extra objection or two. But really, guys, at freewholesaling.com, we sort of break down how to overcome those objections for the best success possible in wholesaling real estate and in virtual wholesaling real estate. So in virtual wholesaling houses, right, there's going to be different types of marketing strategies you have to do, right? You still got to do your cold calling. You can do direct mail, right? Your SMS text blasting still there. Like, the marketing strategies are pretty much the same, because when you're doing your marketing, except reverse trying for dollars or door knocking, you're really not going in person to find these motivated sellers, right?
Correct.
You're not. So the most important thing you got to understand about virtual wholesaling, the only thing that's different is getting the deal locked up. That's pretty much it. The walkthrough with the buyer, yes, you might get a boots on the ground. You might have to have someone take a picture of the house. But like, once you get over those things, a lot of people look at virtual wholesaling sometimes as a downside versus regular wholesaling real estate. And there's downsides, but there's also benefits. I think one of the biggest benefits of virtual wholesaling real estate is you can actually go out here and get more transactions done than the average wholesaler, because you don't have to go in person. You don't have to go all this fluff around everything, right? It's actually really, really simple. So what you have to understand in virtual wholesaling real estate is once you can get over some of the objections a lot of people have, it's all fine. And someone's like, Zach, well, are you locking up deals right now? No. So the two parts of virtual wholesaling real estate is actually going in person and basically having someone go in person for you, like what we do. Like, we have people physically going on appointments today, and we're getting paid on those deals because they're our employees. And then we have other virtual wholesaling markets, Tennessee, South Carolina, Georgia, Michigan, like those type of markets too, where we're virtually wholesaling right there. And that works really, really well too. The truth is you can virtually wholesale anywhere with that computer. The only thing you have to get over is that objection getting started. So like, what are some objections, right? Like, I'd rather you come over and actually look at the house. Well, me and my cash partner, we would love to go buy the house. What we do first is we actually get an agreement on the price first, and then we go out here, take pictures, look at the house, and go from there. Pretty simple, like, just that's the way we do it. It's a lot more faster and efficient. I don't want to waste your time or my time.
Yeah. And
yeah,
I think so. Us doing it like in another country, which is new to me. So me and him are learning as we do it. The priority is one, you gotta have some sort of cell phone service, really easy to research. And internet is something that you got to at least have access to. Yeah. And I gotta be honest with you, like the entire time I've been here, I've mostly used my cell phone. Cell phones have come so much further advanced with the apps and everything. It makes it super convenient. I would never thought I could do this without a laptop computer, but me being a fisherman on a boat, we were actually striped marlin fishing the other day, and I could sit there and send text and OK deals and look at spreadsheets all from the touch of my phone. Honestly, if you told me this 20 years ago, I would never believe you. Guys, the reason we do wholesaling, and I always get back down to why I started this 20 years ago, is because I wanted freedom. And although my journey's different than a lot of others, is now that my kids are on their own and they're out on their own, is now I have like ridiculous freedom. So now I want to travel all over the world and do this. And honestly, wholesaling, I can't think of a better opportunity if you truly want freedom. So listen, I know a lot of you guys love to travel. Some of you are just starting out. Like I was raising kids for a long time, and that was my priority. So other than like doing a cruise or something like family oriented, that's it. So when I told my son, I go, listen, I want to go on this exotic fishing trip. It's going to be crazy. We kind of looked at each other like, well, how are we going to run our business from like another country? And I'm lucky enough to know some other people. We did some research, and you know, we've had a few glitches along the way. But other than a different time zone, it's really the only thing that's changed. Like we just don't have a fancy studio here, but honestly, you guys got to understand content is the most important thing you can consume. Listen, if a fancy screen or something draws you in, that's great, but it always comes down to the content. If you guys pick wholesaling, I started out to get freedom. The money came along with it, and now I can do whatever I want. You can literally live on the road and easily do this lifestyle. I know other people will do it. I like to travel, but I like being at home too. Yeah. But the bottom line is wholesaling gives you the freedom to do what you want. Remember, it gives you the lifestyle you want, and that's why we all start out. So you got to put in the work the first few years to get there. Guys, I didn't do this my first year. I'm on year 20. I could have done this 10 years ago. I just chose not to. And now I'm doing it. And then when I told him I was going, he's like, oh, what better way than go on like a trip with your family and do this? Now, the girls decided to stay behind, but I'm okay with it. But like we get up at 5, we fish, and we were checking emails and doing everything. And then we come back and do our live streams. Yeah. So I have a good time, man. Like we have so many pictures and stuff. Like we just haven't had time to kind of put it all together.
Like 3 hours of video. We got to put it all together, but.
I mean, so I've seen in one trip, we got to see sea lions, whales,
sea lions jumping on the boat.
Yeah,
got that on video.
Tons of porpoises, blue marlin, white marlin, dolphin, you name it. We had a giant marlin just free jumping like straight up behind the boat, not even hooked. I mean, it's absolutely insane.
And around like 4 or 5 deals. So
yeah,
pretty cool in one video, right? So guys, we're working on that. We're getting it all together.
I mean, me and him sat on the boat with this like mouth open. Like he's doing some emails and texts. I go, Zach, you got to get over here. Look at this.
It's crazy.
And remember, I love wholesaling, but like, if you can mix family and doing something you're really passionate about and create an opportunity like wholesaling to create, that's what it's about. So the reason I show you, I'm not like, listen, you don't have to be a fisherman to be a wholesaler. It's my passion. So take whatever your passion is. Like it's not fishing, replace it. If you love traveling, wholesaling can give you the avenue to do it. If you know, whatever, if you love NASCAR racing, if you love climbing mountains, you know, whatever you want to do, that's what we're just trying to show you what you can do. But more importantly is we're here to teach you how to get started. I still remember the day I started. He remembers the day he started. And that's why we're here live streaming with you to bring it home with you. So nobody else that I know of offers free wholesaling, teaching you from start to finish how to do it, get you to your first 100 grand. And what better way? We also do one-on-one, and we don't charge you guys a dime. The reason the other gurus don't want to do it is because then they can't sell you a course if they do the one-on-one, because that's their primary benefit of offering a course. When you're great,
it's the truth. So guys, we're not selling you the dream more or less, but we're just showing you what the dream is. The honest truth is, the amount of wholesaling work I'm doing currently is the same amount I'd be doing at home.
Yeah.
2 or 3 hours a day, I kind of get it done in the morning. I do my other sort of work outside of there. I might do a live stream, but like really what I did today or yesterday is the same thing. I check on the team. I see how many leads come in, how many appointments are going out, how many deals we locked up, how many we didn't, right? Checking the marketing, how that's going. Like I'm doing the same thing. So where we are at our business, it's all scaled out where I can just kind of check things on the computer like I do it at home, right? But like that's the way we do it. Now, wait for a lot of people starting out. It's kind of the way that I did when I went to college, right? And I had a virtually wholesale from my dorm room where I had to do the cold calling by myself. I had to lock up the deals by myself. I had to deal with the sellers myself. And it was I think a mindset hurdle, but I think it's a mindset hurdle for a lot of people. A lot of people have barriers in their life, really for everything. And the honest truth is those barriers are all mental. And once you break through those barriers that, hey, I can't wholesale. I'm not smart enough to wholesale. I'm not a good talker to wholesale. You know, I'm not the little self-limiting beliefs we have in our head. Once we can conquer that, it's true. David Goggins says this. I love David Goggins, but like we all have a governor in our head that tells us to stop at like 60%, and we can pretty much push the 90, 95. Like physically, mentally, it's probably 50, right? Oh, I can't talk to a seller. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, I can't lift this weight. I can't do that. I can't. Guys, I mean, if you truly believe you can't wholesale virtually, it's your problem. Like if you mentally, I always tell people it's like the grasshopper. I think it's the grasshopper analogy or the roach analogy where like if you have a grasshopper, right? You might have to go behind me so it's not blocking the light.
Okay.
But like it's like a grasshopper where I think it's a grasshopper. It's one of these analogies where like they have a grasshopper in a bowl, right? And he has breathing tubes and he gets food and stuff. And the grasshopper, they took him from the wild where he's jumping 10 feet up in the air. Oh, ticks. This is ticks. It's a weird analogy. It's ticks, but they can jump. Ticks can jump like 2 feet high.
Fleas.
Fleas. All right, fleas.
Fleas.
Fleas can jump like 5, 7, 8, 9, 10 feet, right? But once you put that wild flea in a jar and it can only go up 4 inches, it remembers what it's like going 10 feet, so it can still do that. But once they have kids and those fleas only see that Papa flea can only go up 4 inches, he can only go up 4 inches. And then you take that barrier away like 2 generations past, it can't go over 4 inches. And it's not because it physically can't do it. Everyone around their environment has told them that that's the only thing they can do. This is like you getting into wholesaling real estate. Everyone around you's only made a certain amount of money per year, maybe $30,000, $40,000, $50,000. You can't make that. You can't make more than $100,000, Zach. You can't make more than 100. Like there's self-limiting beliefs financially for yourself. There's also self-limiting beliefs around yourself. If you see people that only can wholesale virtually, physically, or you can't wholesale virtually, that's too difficult. Oh, that's terrible. You can't cold call. That's too hard. SMS text blast, and that sucks, right? You're going to have these self-limiting beliefs for yourself. Once you break open that belief in your head that you can just wholesale virtually, it changes everything. And the best part about virtual wholesaling is the risk is practically zero. If you have an internet connection and a computer, it's your time, right? Like why don't you just try it, right? And the one belief I had was always like, oh, virtual wholesaling, I get less margins. It's true. You get less margins per deal in virtual wholesaling real estate, but you get more deals and it opens things up when you're scaling. So we were making a good amount of money, you know, like what, two, 3 or 4 deals per month in our physical wholesaling business when I was like, 18, 19 years old. There's still good deals, right? But like, there's only a certain amount of deals you can do in a market. And we were able to push doing like 10, 15 in our local market, but that's like pushing it hard. Like that's hard. Like that's pushing it to the stinking limit. But here's the thing. We're able to get to 20 deals a month. We sometimes get 30 deals a month just from doing virtual wholesaling because you're not stuck at one market where there's only 200,000 people in it, right? We got to have 350 more million people in our potential market because we went virtual. And once you get the systems in place, when I started virtual wholesaling, I was able to do way more deals. I was able to talk to more sellers. I was able to do more deals because a lot of people believe it's like, oh, it's going to suck up more time. If you have VAs cold calling for you and you have all these leads and all you can do is just lock up deals, that's what you're going to be doing. You're going to spend 8 hours a day locking up deals, not cold calling. You're going to make more money. It really comes down to the end of the day, destroying those self-limiting beliefs and doing more deals. Virtual wholesaling can change your life. And really, like if you live in New York City, San Francisco, San Diego sometimes, right? Chicago, Miami, you can virtually wholesale. Boston.
Right. I mean, we got people doing virtual wholesaling in like very far away countries, right in your own backyard in the United States.
Wow.
And I mean, they have severe challenges with internet, major time differences, 12 to 14 hours. And guys, like they're doing it, and they have language barrier issues, and they have heavy accents. And so a lot of times it's mostly like what goes on your head. So let me give you an example. Like my family I was brought in, I love them to death, everything to do it. But listen, I'm older, guys. So my parents only had a certain set of skill sets to say, hey, listen, go get a good job, go to college. You know, if you could make, back then, if you could make 35, 40,000 a year, you were like a rock star. And I always kind of question and wonder it. And I think I was just really curious. I'm like, well, why stop there? So I remember when I picked up my first Tony Robbins book, probably when I was 17, 18, trying to figure it out. And I got so excited when I read the book. And the minute I tried to apply one of the things, I literally got my legs chopped out. I mean, everybody attacked me. You're crazy. Guys, this is back in the early 80s. And I put it to bed. And I left it probably for like 5 years. I read it again. And then I adapted one more principle. And then like another 5 years went through. And it just took me a long time to grasp the concept because I always thought there was a ceiling limit. And once I realized so I went and got a regular job, as you guys know. And I did that for 10, 12 years. And at 33, I just said, listen, I can't do this anymore. Honestly, it's not going to work. So I said, what do I have to lose? I can go get these jobs anytime I want. Whatever. I got to climb the corporate ladder again. And I took a risk. And that risk is why I'm sitting here today. And I remember doing my first deal, handing me a $15,000 check. I'm like, and that's like 3 months, 4 months worth of work for me. And then I go, okay, well, that was a fluke. I used to say that. I'm like, well, let me do it again. And I did it again. And I picked up some $30,000, $40,000 checks. And I remember telling my wife, now I did this while I had a job. So I had challenges. I had little people. I had mortgages. I had a wife depending on me. And she supported me through the whole thing. And I just busted through it. And then once I got good at wholesaling, I had to learn how to manage money, how to grow it, which was my next big challenge. And now here we are talking to you in Mexico while we are wholesaling, doing our operation and doing something I get three passions, my family first, okay, fishing, and then wholesaling. And if you can put them all three together, it won't happen overnight. Yeah. I made him do the 2 to 3 year grind, just like I had to do. And honestly, if you think you're going to skip that journey by buying a course and they're going to magically get you $100,000 a month, you're not. You have to go through the journey. The problem with wholesaling is, and I'm just going to tell you the truth on it is, it's been oversold as this like super gimmicky, easy. I don't know why you don't do it. You can go to Mexico and flip properties. 20 years, guys, 20 years. He put in 3 years, a lot of it while he was in high school and college. I just got him to start earlier. And when he has little ones, they'll probably starting in diapers, wholesaling houses.
If they can say words, they can wholesale.
That's my kids. And so many people say, I didn't push wholesaling on him. I just showed him the lifestyle. So if you're a parent out there and you're like raising kids, your kids watch what you do much more than what you say.
I agree.
Okay, you cannot like lie to your kids. You can lie to your family, but like your kids, if you live with them and that's what you do, they see what you do. And if you say one thing and do another, they're gonna like, I don't understand. So I'm the farthest thing from a perfect parent, but like he saw what I did like financially and some of the stuff I could do, and that's what we're trying to do with virtual wholesaling with you.
That's the point. So guys, virtual wholesaling, I will tell you, it's super sexy. It's the easiest thing to make.
It's easy to sell.
It's easy to sell, guys. I mean, I could have a thumbnail of me just like, oh yeah, the money's coming in, woo, right? Like, but it's like anything. Wholesaling, unfortunately, I'm going to say this is not going to be the most popular statement, but wholesaling is a legitimate business. It is not a get-rich-quick scheme. It's a legitimate business.
Which requires work.
Every legitimate business requires work.
Yeah, and you have to dedicate it to it. And we always go through this. You got to set a belief. You got to have a hard, set, fast conviction. and then you got to take the massive action and keep it going. And if you can get through that 2-year barrier, honestly, it gets so easy.
It's not even 2-year barrier. It's,
yeah. So like, if you guys ever like, I go skiing, you know, like once every 2 or 3 years, and I think it's really cool. I enjoy it. I'm terrible at it, but I go downhill when I go fast. He goes straight downhill. And
slow.
but I wanted to learn snowboarding. I remember, so I only had a week's vacation, and I'm gonna admit it. I quit after the first day. My butt hurt so bad because I didn't have time to get through those. The guy told me, he goes, "You're gonna have to go through 2 days of hard pain, maybe 3." And I made a decision. I did it. I did it for about 2 hours, and I was in, like, guys, it just takes time. It's a skill set. Wholesaling is the exact same thing, and I don't know why people don't tell you this up front. I'm not here to scare you. You can do it. It's not going to hurt your butt. It might hurt your feelings. You're going to get rejected. But if you can relate to that, any snowboarders here, I give you guys all the props in the world. It is painful. My butt hurt for a week after that trip.
Once you do it a while, it's fine. So here's the thing. I don't agree too much about the 2 years. Yeah. So 2 years he's correct about the 2 years, but that's 2 years where you're consistently doing 10, 20, 30, 40
like completely flowing where you can go on the road.
You can go on the road whenever you want, technically.
You can. I just took longer. So back then, like, virtual wholesaling wasn't like, we didn't understand how to do it, or like we didn't push the limits.
So about 5-6 months, I was 100K in. Like, I made 100K when I graduated high school. The truth is, if you're starting out with $0, virtual wholesaling can be a way to go. You know, a lot of people like running around doing stuff everywhere, but it's going to take you around 2 years, more or less, to get at a place where you're consistently guaranteed you make money. Like, if you want to make a 500K this year, it's probably going to take you 2 years to get to that level.
Yeah.
Year one, that's where you got to put in the real grind. And honestly, for most people, 100K, consistently getting 10K a month, getting to that point, probably going to take you a year to really get that knowledge up where you can consistently quit your job, stuff like that. I've seen people make 100K in 2 months and really get at it really fast, right? I've seen people, 100K takes them 3 years, right? It's all different for everybody, but like, if you want to be at a point where you're like guaranteed getting all this money coming in, it's going to probably take a year or two just of a grind. But this is it. So that's an upsetting thing for a lot of people to understand. But I think one exciting part too is, yes, wholesaling is a legit business, which means it requires work. But let's look at every other business. Let's say you're 18 years old right now and you have no money at all. What are your options as an entrepreneur? Right, number one, you can be a realtor. Wait, how much does a realtor be cost if you're 18? What, $2,000? A grand, $2,000? Like what?
It just depends on like what level. Like, it's
for most 18-year-olds, what, $2,000? You'd say?
Wow,
education, licensing, insurance.
It's NAR that kills you. So
I would say about $1 to $2,000 to become a realtor, right?
Probably closer to 3 on average.
Yeah. So 18 years old. I don't have the money for that, so shoot, that's not good. College, I can go into debt 4 years unless you get a full ride or something like that. Can I do drop shipping? Ugh, that's wait. I have to spend $1 to $2,000 in Facebook ads for drop shipping. Okay, what about Amazon FBA? Wait, I have to buy a $2,000 course. I have to put all this investment. That's $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. I'm just thinking Forex. Oh wait, I have to invest $2,000 in the Forex just to make it work, right? Like, you're looking at all these side hustles, these legitimate businesses to start as an 18-year-old online, all from your computer. It's like all adding up. Like, this is going to all cost me $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000, and at most, as a realtor, like, I don't know many teenage realtors. There's very few that are making $1 million a year.
Yeah.
And this might just be biased, but I know a ton. The percentage of wholesalers that are making $1 million that are 18 is way higher if you look at the saturation versus realtors making $1 million a year at 18 years old. Yeah. Easily, right? And I might get upset from a lot of people watching this, but it's absolutely true. It drives me crazy.
Yeah, we're so very clear. We're not realtors. I do business with realtors. I'm not here to talk about training to be a realtor. And honestly, this is my opinion. You can take it for what you want. Anyone who tells you you got to be a licensed realtor to be a legitimate wholesaler, I guarantee you they have something to sell you, because I've been doing this 20 years, no license. Honestly, you got to pick and choose what you want to do. So many people are like, well, I can do both. I can create opportunity. No, you're actually going to create problems for yourself. You're going to create liabilities. And most people wind up doing the dual thing. They always wind up on the realtor side because it's safe, right?
Well,
no skit. Like, I got a little bit of money in the game. I do it. I'll take my commission.
It seems safe, but it's not safe.
It's not safe.
I was talking to somebody yesterday on this. It's like, oh, I should be a realtor because, you know, there's so much competition with wholesalers and I can just kind of talk to sellers. I'm like, all right, let's break down your marketing as a realtor. Let's really break it down. Okay. You can either cold call for sale by owners, Zillow ads, or like realtor ads, right? Like, but there's like three marketing, besides networking, 3 or 4 marketing strategies. I want everyone to look up the percentages of citizens in your county that are realtors. It is 1 to 2% of everyone's a realtor, right? And they're like, I'm like, but it's the competition. I'm like, okay, let's say you door knock on an old lady's house, right? Or someone's house and you say you want to be a realtor. It sounds easy, like, oh, I'm not buying their house. I'm just being a realtor. You know, I'm the great guy. What do you do when you call that person? Every single person I know says this, ready? I can help you sell your house. Oh, no, I can't. I'm sorry. You know, my cousin Vinny's a realtor. My aunt, my abuela, she's a realtor. My uncle, my brother, my best friend. If you look at a human being in the United States of America, they are one friend group away from knowing a realtor, and they're going to go with their friend versus you anytime. Most people choose a realtor not because how good they are, because they know them. And the second reason, outside of knowing them, it's going to be one of the top 2 producers in the county, right? They either want the best of the best or a family friend or something like that, which leaves you, Joe Schmo realtor, pretty much
no man's land,
out of luck, right? The competition for realtors is 100% worse.
If you think it's bad with wholesalers.
So you think, oh my gosh, someone's dealing with 2 other wholesalers on my deal? You're competing against the cousin, the brother, the top producer, like all these, like, come on, guys.
Guess what is the best strategy for realtors to get listings? What would you say it is? The fastest way.
Being related to them.
Being related. The second one is cold calling. That's what the real diehards do.
Yeah, but they only can really cold call Zillow for sale owners.
Correct.
They really can't cold call anything else.
They're very limited in what they can call. And the problem is you don't differentiate yourself. Where I'm going with this is some people, well, I'll do a realtor because it's going to help out.
It's worse.
And 20 years experience, take it for it. It's my opinion. When you go get your realtor's license, unless it's an absolute requirement for your state, which I'm not going to get into that one, which is a very, very small percentage, it handicaps you because it's your plan B, and you're always going to want, when they tell you like burn the bridge, like sometimes burn the bridge. I'm not telling you if you have a job and leave it. We've already told you what the plan is to get into wholesaling. I did it. You can easily duplicate it. But when you go get the realtor's license, like just in case, by the time you pay the fees, all the energy you got to do, it's going to be a huge distraction if you truly want to be a successful wholesaler. So if you want to earn $1 million and you want to work towards it, you're going to have to do it in wholesaling, or you're going to have to do it in realtor world. And in my opinion, realtor world's even so much harder.
It's so much harder. And the cool part is, let me do one last thing about the realtor and get into virtual wholesaling, because I think everyone's pretty much convinced. This is for my realtor people watching this. I want you to look at 10 realtors that make $100,000 a year. Net. Because once they make $100K in commissions is different than net, because there's a ton of marketing, right? You almost have to cut 20, 30% off.
You'll never hear that from them.
You never hear it. So really they have to make 120, 130 in commissions, right?
More than that.
So here's the thing, 100K. Let's break down 100K. If I'm gonna make 100K as a realtor, I'm probably gonna have to make 150K in commissions, correct?
Minimum.
That is gonna be $5 million in real estate. I have to sell $5 million in real estate. If my average house, so the average house in the United States is, let's say, 400,000. That's a nice market, right? That means I have to sell 12.5 houses. That's a lot of houses. Let's do 250, right? At 5 million, let's do 250, because that's probably more your speed. You have to sell probably 20 houses. That is basically 1 to 2 a month.
And realtors have work. They have a completely different role too.
Well, yeah.
They got to do a lot of babysitting with clients, like just because people aren't used to it. They got to break a lot of bad news to them, and they got to drag them to the closing table, and then they got to rip that commission right out of there, and they go, hey, that's it. And then honestly, a lot of that stuff, it's all negotiable right to the table.
Let's talk about these 12.5 deals, right? The average time it's spent to do a listing, meeting with all these people, doing the marketing, all this stuff. I would say the average realtor that makes 100K a year net is working 50 to 60 hours a week. I'm going to look at 100 realtors in my market that make 100K. And they're probably have to, because our market's a little lower than the average, it's probably going to be 20 listings a month. 20 listings a year. At 20 listings a year, you're working 50, 60 hours and you're running with your head chopped off, right? If I look at the average person making 100K, they're working wholesale, like work. Let's talk about work. When you really look at it, they're at 20 to 30, right? Mm-hmm. It's a lot less stressful. And did I also mention that they didn't have to put in 40, 50K in marketing, all for free. I think that's something very, very important. And those realtors, every realtor I know that makes that 100K, they've been a realtor for 5, 6, 7, 8 years. Like they had to get to that point.
Yeah, they worked it. It's easy. Guys, the bottom line is there's no shortcut. Wholesaling is an amazing opportunity. And like, don't fret about the year or two to get going. But if you get one check for 20, 30 grand, it'll change a lot of your lives like forever. And don't fret, because if it takes you a few more months to get the next one, we're talking about like consistent cash flow. Like you can almost depend on it. It takes time to build the systems and the operations for it and have the people you work with. So many people are overselling wholesaling, saying you've got to scale. Honestly, you cannot skip getting started in wholesaling and understanding the basics. Like we teach you government list, putting in the work. So many people want to skip that and go straight into scaling. It's a huge mistake. And it's got a ridiculous failure rate. So that's why when we looked at doing this whole project with our wholesaling is let's try to introduce as many people as humanly possible to wholesaling, show them the options, get them up to their first 100 grand. Then it's up to you what decision you want to make. We just want to connect with you, maybe do a few deals with you and get you to the promised land. I don't think you should have to pay a ridiculous fee to learn wholesaling, a basic skill set, because it's all out there. You just got to get from someone you can trust, who actually does the business. And what better way from someone who actually is not here to sell you a course? That's the truth. So in virtual wholesaling real estate, so I think we kind of cut the realtor thing. And then everyone says, oh, I know a realtor that makes $500,000 a year. Let's look at the wholesaler that makes $500,000 a year. How much are those two people working? How much are they spending? I actively know a realtor. We both know this person. They probably net $300K, $400K a year in like commissions. They're spending how much on Zillow ads? Roughly, I don't want to reveal them, but like how? It's big numbers. What's roughly? It's at least 20, right? Yeah, 15 to 25. They're netting they're netting like 400 or 500K, but they're putting 20, 30K a month. They're busy. And guys, those are like hard commitments. They sign for 1, 2, 3 years out. They have transaction coordinators. Like it's insane. So they got to do just 12 to 15 houses just to even break even. I know. Minimum. And they got to do some of the higher priced homes. And listen, so the point of this is if you figure out if you do wholesaling local, you do it virtually, in my opinion, you're better off. You're always going to connect with realtors one way or the other. My point of this is learn how to do business with realtors as opposed to becoming a realtor. Listen, if you want to be a realtor and that's your passion, knock yourself out. I just can't help you doing that. So when you ask, how do I get more listings? I would go find a really successful real estate agent and I would figure out how to work with them, because I'm not going to teach you how to get listings. If you're getting listings as a wholesaler and that's your primary income, then you're going down the real estate agent journey and you just got to be honest with yourself. I don't do that. To me, I think it's just too much work. Like if you do wholesaling right and you put in the time, the payoff is so tremendous. So it's like snowboarding or snow skiing or water skiing. You got to put in a little time and just understand the fundamentals of it. And then if you want to go slalom, and then you get really good, you can do barefoot water skiing, which sounds really painful. I've done it before when I was younger. I'm fine. The wipeouts are really bad. It's a lot of fun. Yeah, it's completely. So virtual wholesaling real estate beats any realtor at the end of the day. That's my honest opinion. Every single person that's making over $1 million a year in wholesaling real estate,
They all have scaled up teams. They're working probably 20, 30 hours a week. We're the exception because we don't want to do 30, 40 million a year. Like we're not like we can do it from the JV side, but we want to do it in a way where we can kind of have fun, do whatever we want, right?
Yeah.
So just understand, guys, to a point, our goal for a lot of stuff is to spend time with family and have time freedom. That's how it's different for every single person. I think every guru likes to say that they're doing it for the money. We do it for the time freedom. So kind of everything we kind of do to a point is like that. Like we don't sell guru coaching courses. First of all, we're lazy bums. So we don't want to be on a Zoom 6 hours a day teaching you guys. I'm sorry. I'm saying this really politely, but like 2 hours a day is the most I'm willing to spend like helping people out. Like I'll do 3 or 4, but like I want to chill out. Like I'm sorry.
And the self-admitted truth from
telling you
very
the truth.
established gurus, the failure rate when people buy these courses is 90 to 95%.
Yeah.
Why is it? You can't all be failing, right? Somebody's failing you, and it's typically they're over-promising you a pitch. And listen, if I thought like I could take a 1 month course and figure out how to make $100,000 a year, a month, dude, I've been there. I've done that. And maybe, but like most of the time, it's going to be up to you. You can't. So what problem is you get sold like this bottle of good. So back in like the early 1800s when they used to have wagons and a guy would show up with a wagon and he'd have like this special sauce that would fix all your ailments and everything. And you know what they had to do? The wagon had to keep moving town to town because it was nothing more than like bottled water, just water in a bottle with like a little bit of sugar, because it was like snake oil. And I'm not telling you everyone tells you snake oil, but you can't skip the journey. And that's the one thing I've noticed. Everybody's telling you like they flash the head times. Listen, we use our like thumbnails and headlines to get your attention for the better of your good. Okay. So I get your attention, you get on here. The reason is we're being authentic. The reason I talk about like fishing and family and stuff, it's just because that's who I am. I can't take it out of me. Just replace. If you don't like fishing, if you like traveling, if you like, I don't know, macrame or whatever it is, just substitute it. That's the point. But you guys know I'm passionate about it. I mean, I'm thousands of miles away from home. I don't know how many miles. And I'm doing what I love. And what better way to have my son come along with me? And then we get to do our business together and we keep doing deals. To me, I couldn't have dreamed this scenario 20 years ago. I just followed the journey. You know why? Because I found wholesaling, ready for this, by accident. And I didn't even have YouTube to find wholesaling. So you guys have a million options. At the end of the day, you have to make the choice. Find someone that resonates with you, that's done the journey, that's continuing to do the journey, and you feel that they can connect with you. And if it connects with you, like go with it. And remember, focus on the content. All these screens that we have screens, but it's just distractions. It's like, it's great, it's good, pleasant to the eye, but at the end of the day,
I want my Dragon Ball Z Goku behind me when I'm talking. So
yeah, I mean, just
I like it.
If it was up to me, I would just pick up a phone and shoot and stream to you.
I don't let that happen.
He doesn't let that happen, but that's it. I want to get the message to you, and so some of the little, I'm not calling gimmicks and stuff we use, but if it helps change one person and goes, it gets them out of that job they passionately hate, and they go, okay, I want to fight for it. Rick did it. Dude, I'm no different than you. I barely got through school. It's just because I just learned differently. The one thing I understand with wholesaling, and the reason why there's such a massive failure rate, is everybody learns differently. Everybody has a different pace. And the sooner we accept that and acknowledge it, not only can we help ourselves, you can help your kids, your friends, your family, and that's how life works, and that's how we treat wholesaling.
That's the honest truth, guys. Like we're not here to tell you anything. We're just here to tell you the truth. It might not feel comfortable for you to know that this is a legitimate business and it takes work to make money. You can make 50, 100K a year on a fluke, but to get consistent results, you're going to have to do consistent action. So we're not here to sell you a course. We're here to tell you the truth. Frankly, if you don't even do a deal with us, and you don't even like our stuff, it's even if you do a deal.
Wait, you don't have to buy a course from us to do a deal with us?
You don't, but here's the thing. If you don't like us, I don't care. Like, we're not going to make any less money from it if you don't follow me or whatever. I just want to give you something that's honestly changed my life. Virtual wholesaling has done that for me. Done that for you. I'm going to spend time with you, my family, friends, fishing, all this stuff. And honestly, no course can teach this. And that's the thing. So the last thing I want to get into, we're getting some questions, but I hate to say this. This is very uncomfortable for some people, but 95% of these gurus, coaches, they're all fake. And I will tell you this. I say it once every time usually, but like it's all smoke and mirrors. Everyone you're listening to in wholesaling real estate, they're fake. They don't wholesale for real. They don't cold call people for real because if they actually did a live cold call, they would fold. I've done lives, with, you've seen other people, they fold under pressure.
Well, most of them are recorded or set up.
They're all recorded.
It's like a realtor. Like, honestly, you're going to have the guts to make like
why would you listen to someone who folds under pressure? I got nothing to sell you. So
at the end of the day, you just got to go out and talk to people.
Yeah.
And that's all we teach here. And honestly, we're just being authentic. If we don't register with you, just shut it down. I don't care. I'm always going to be who I am. I've always taught him to be independent, self-thinker, and not rely on anybody else to get by in life. And that is what wholesaling has created for both of us. Obviously, it's benefited my family wildly. And here's the funny thing is, I don't even have to do wholesaling. A lot of people get to a level, they go, well, I'm not going to wholesale anymore because I've made it. Honestly, it's quite the opposite. I'm actually kind of addicted to it. It's just my personality. I just enjoy chasing deals down. It's so much fun. It doesn't matter if it's a $50,000 deal or a $5 or a $50 million deal. I love the journey of chasing it down. And wholesaling taught me to be able to look at these massive deals. And without it, there's no way I could have leveled up to that. So you don't have to do wholesaling the rest of your life either. If you're like, well, I don't want to do that forever. But if you get really good at it, you can train other people to work under you. And you can have them do that, but you have to understand how to communicate to them. You got to understand the journey they're going to go through, how many calls they got to make, what's the connection rate, all that fun stuff. Get into direct mail, the SMS, the cold calling, everything. But honestly, you're not going to be a good leader and a good teacher unless you actually go through some of the basic journey to do it.
So someone just said this. Do you know how we got rich? Ready for this one? I love it because the gurus get in the group and then they start
please tell me
they
how
try
I got
getting
rich.
fake information. Ready? Oh wait, he says not. Wait.
Bro, you.
I was talking about the gurus.
Yeah.
I don't know. Someone said that we get rich from selling courses. I think he's talking about the gurus. He's talking about us. I don't know. We'll see it. But like,
go try.
I kicked 2 people out today of our group because they said that Zach sells his course and he's fake. I will tell you one thing that we're getting a problem with. This is one problem. I'm having a lot of people use my name. They'll create an Instagram. So my Instagram is at flipwithzach. FLIPWITHZACH. Flip with Zach.
Mm-hmm.
These bots do flip with 2 P's with Zach, and then they DM you and say, "Yo, this is Zach Ginn. I need $500 real quick. Can you go get me there, or go to this like crypto type thing, and then go send me $1,000. I'll teach you wholesaling in my Discord." Guys, they're everywhere. They're going to be you're going to get probably 4 or 5 DMs a day from these like bots. I'm trying to stop them.
They do it to everybody.
Yeah.
So here's the
Just
one thing
FYI.
that'll separate. We never ask for money from you. So it's like easy. The problem with a lot of other gurus, they ask so much money from you. Like you don't know like what's for real. People are getting very sophisticated. It's getting more complicated. Me and Zach make it super easy. We're never going to DM you, PM you, email you for you. We're just going to say, hey, listen, this is what we're doing. This is when our live streams are. This is what we use. That's it. We're never personally going to ask you for money. So guys, if someone's doing it, call them out. But like, honestly, it's not going to stop. Yeah. There's nothing I can do. Listen, I went back and did some research. There's products on there with like my name all over the internet. I have no idea who it is. But they do it to everybody. So guys, unless it's authentic and you want to pay for something, me and Zach are never going to ask for money for you and make it very simple.
95% people watching know this. Like they know it,
but some
people let's talk about D says this. Had a fake Zach page reach out on Instagram. Give me $500 for this type of payment thing, guys. Come on, all right. Like if it's not Rick Zach Ginn or honestly, like if it's asking for money, just block. If it's really me and I ask for money, please block me. Please shame me. Like. Even if I go on here and say, buy my course, I want everyone to go in the comments and shame me for the rest of my life. Like, guys, my word is my everything. Our word is our bond. Our reputation's everything. You are going to get DM from fake people like us. do me a favor, if you're getting one and you really think it's us, like you really think it is, just ask me a question.
Yeah.
Just ask me a question that only you or me would know by just from watching our streams.
So how do they connect with us live?
You just come here in the comments and just ask, right? Hey, I'm about to send you that $500 in whatever coin. Hey, go ask me real quick. You know, I'll answer it.
But as we only talk about real estate, particularly wholesaling, because that's what we're best at. I'm not going to pitch you anything else because honestly, it's what I'm best at. I'm good at like family, but I think we all are. Like I think we all have that. So I'm just going to show you what I do, and either it resonates or not. I'm never going to talk about anything digital or anything like that because you all went through that big wave. I noticed today, all of a sudden, everyone's talking about it again. It's like, give me a break.
Here, I'll do the code. Are you ready?
Yeah.
Just ask me who my favorite New York Jets quarterback is of all time. Just ask me that. And if I tell you a quarterback's name, you know it's fake. End me, okay? If I start saying good stuff about the Jets,
we don't have it.
end me, okay? Just FYI, like, all right. So guys, just ask me like off the cuff questions, and you won't get anything back from these people. It's the fastest. I get DMs from these people, and I start asking questions about myself. Guys, just FYI, there's
they even get in the chats here and all this stuff, but it's like everywhere. But like it's really easy with me and Zach because like we don't ask for payment for anything. So don't send them anything. Just stand them all up and block them. That's it. But
yeah,
I don't have enough energy or bandwidth to go around full time and chase these people because they're I think they're not even people. They're like AI technology, whatever it is.
A lot of them are like AI technology now.
But you know, as so many gurus charge so much, people are so used to paying that's kind of the norm in the business.
Yeah. So I got one guy trying to sell you on a Discord. More or less, it's actually kind of crazy. So guys, I don't have a Discord. I have freewholesaling.com in my group, and that's how you get a hold of me. I don't really answer DMs too much because I get too many, and I'm kind of too busy to a point. I only have really 2 hours of a hobby, which is doing this. This is kind of a hobby for us.
Yeah, we enjoy it.
I'm just doing it. So like, I don't DM all the time. I teach you guys for free, and a lot of this stuff you get is at freewholesaling.com. So I don't know anything on there. But guys, so let's answer some questions. Let's talk about it. Virtual wholesaling is absolutely the best, and that's what we're going to break down today. So I'm looking at the laptop right here. So we're living the Mexico life. So quick announcement. We are going live. We're going live on Sunday. So basically what we're going to do is we have no live tomorrow. We're going to be on a plane, but we're going to release some fun videos. So it'll be fun, right?
Yeah.
So there'll be no live stream tomorrow, but there will be a live stream on Sunday on the Zach Ginn channel, and then on Monday on the Rick Ginn channel. And then in exchange on the plane, I'll be working on that vlog. You're going to get a lot of really fun stuff. You're going to see sea lions jumping on boats, marlin everywhere, Dorado.
I don't understand the whole sea lion thing, man. But I guess it's a West Coast thing, man. They are cute though.
But you'll like it. Your friend,
cute.
His friend that like lives here. So like a good part of the year, he brought his dog. You're gonna love it. Dog people are gonna love this. It's gonna be hilarious. So it's gonna be really fun.
Sea lions, marlin, and dogs and whales.
Yeah, we're gonna get some big fish. So let's break down. I'll have you answer some videos. I'll show you a picture of you with it. But yeah, guys, we have healthy boundaries to a point. I don't do this. I don't do the video thing because I think I'm gonna make money off of you guys off of it. I do it for fun. And honestly, like I want to answer this one question. I think this is a really good question to ask. What other person in wholesaling real estate legitimately will just teach you for free? And if you don't, honestly, like we teach you everything. Like we have a free course. Acquisitions is in the course. Marketing is in the course. Dispositions, I'll talk to you one-on-one. No other person has that. Nobody. And ask yourself why they don't. Because they're trying to extract money from you. Everything I say, I'm saying it from my heart, trying to help you out. If you don't take what I say, you're just not going to do as well. But like, I'm not trying to sell you a course. There's a reason why you're getting sold a course and all this stuff and trying to confuse you on this stuff. So let me pop up this fishing picture here. But truthfully, nobody decided to give everything out for free. I think it was really sad. I was very inspired by so many wholesalers. People in other industries giving everything out for free that I wanted to do it. I wanted to do it. So if you want to get a free wholesaling course, just go to freewholesaling.com. Go to Wholesaling Houses for Real, and I'll do some one-on-one calls. We'll get a picture of. All right, this is kind of cool. All right, so this was yesterday. So let's break it all down right here. All right, so here's you. So I promised this picture because we can't go live tomorrow. So I'll show you some fun stuff before the vlog. So let's see where it's at. All right, here it is. This is you with a marlin. That was an insane one, right?
I mean, that was one of like
That was
many.
bigger. I think it was huge.
And it's really cool, guys, because you get to see them on the surface and they come up to the boat. And that's a striped marlin there. They get up to about 170 pounds. Wild. The fish goes absolutely nuts. But, I mean, it's really neat. I mean, we go to some really remote places to get them where, like, it's like, I mean, there's fish everywhere. And it took a long journey to get here, but, man, it's a lot of fun. So it's I
think it was crazy.
Yeah, but that's what wholesaling allows me to do. And I just love doing this. And I do it back home. The fish are just a lot smaller. And you got to work a little bit harder for them. So it's
and that was a cool one, and that's why they call it a striped marlin.
Yeah.
Those things are cool. There's me with another one. Pretty fun. You got the videos, you got the whole thing, but like it's
so
pretty fun.
Striped marlin. I got a monster blue marlin. That's a whole nother story.
But the cool part is like we're doing that. We're getting like a couple deals every single time we're on the boat like that. Yeah. It's crazy, guys. So let's do some one-on-one calls. Let's talk to some people one-on-one, and let's break it down. I've been up early from doing a little fishing, so I'm gonna put my glasses on real quick. But let's go talk to Jay real quick. Put my glasses on, and we'll break it down. Jay, what is up?
Hey, what's going on? I didn't expect to be the first person on here. I thought I got
you are. We take them first in line, man.
So how can I help you out?
So question. I got the code violations, like you said, and I did the reverse drop dollar. So I remember you talking yesterday about having a good bow. The bow is the lists, and then the arrow, which is like your marketing method. So I figured the most effective marketing method for these code violations is cold calling and reverse driving for dollars. So I'm doing reverse driving for dollars. I did reverse driving for dollars at first, but kind of ran out of funds or what have you. So I'm holding off on that until later on. Once I get the funds rolling in again, I'm going to start a subscription with either Zach Data or Bat Skip Tracing, so I can trace that cold call list and then also do more reverse driving for dollars as well. Do you think that's a good game plan for this particular list?
I don't think so. I think
you've already had direction on this, so you're
right.
You're spot on. You just, when you do it, you got to look at the data. And here's the catch with wholesalers. You can't do knee-jerk reactions. You got to give it some time, but you sometimes have to know when something's not working in a current market. So a lot of times wholesalers are guilty of this, including myself, especially early. I would mimic what somebody else did in a market like to a T. And I go, man, that's not working. Either I would pull the plug too soon or you'd wait too late. And you got to find the balance in it. All real estate is localized. Like there's nobody can ever cure that. So understanding that. So you do find trends, and I think you're on the right path, but just like look at your data. The worst data you can look at are feeds on the internet, because you have no idea if there's any stock or substance to the person posting on it. Like give you an example. A lot of people post, even including on our forums on our Facebook group, saying direct mail is dead, it doesn't work. And then people are like, yeah, I don't want to spend the money, it's a waste of money. And there's no data behind it. Without data, that it's just a wild opinion. That person might not even do wholesaling. And that's the problem with social media. Although it's great introducing you guys, but it can make you question a lot of stuff you do. So don't take any advice on the internet unless they have hard data to support what they're saying. And even if they have hard data, if they're doing it in, say, like North Carolina and you're like in California, they're just like two different worlds. And that's the only thing I kind of warn you. So many people are guilty of trying something once and going, it didn't work. Well, you don't understand wholesaling. If you tried something once, that's an epic fail right there. There's nothing in wholesaling that you try once, because you're not going to get enough data on it. So for instance, like direct mail, I tell everyone, you got to give it a quarter. That's 3 months. You got to give it 3 months. You will have some bomb months in there. That's the nature of the beast. And so just listen to your data when it comes in, because data is what drives your behavior in wholesaling. And remember, data is information from the marketing you put out and when you get back in. And some of it's bad data, some of it's good data. But you got to look at your data and you have to make decisions, and then you set rules on how long you're going to give something. Like I tell anybody, if you're going to start direct mail, if you're not going to give it 3 months, don't even bother doing it. Because if you send out 100 letters, you're probably going to fail at it just by the nature of the beast. So, the only thing you have to do while you're doing that is establish some ground rules on like how long you're going to give it, and when you decide you're going to make a shift if something doesn't work. And remember, all wholesalers, nothing's perfect. Like when you pull that bow back and shoot it, sometimes it'll go so far over the target, especially if you're like me, because I have terrible vision. And sometimes you just hit the bullseye 2 or 3 times. You hit the bullseye 2 or 3 times, keep doing what you're doing. Like, so I'm gonna give you a fishing analogy. So many times, like the other day, we're fishing, we're catching marlin left and right. We left and we went fishing somewhere else and we didn't catch anything else. And where the fish are biting or where the sellers are signing contracts, just keep firing arrows out there. Sometimes it just takes time to collect enough data. And that's the only thing you got to kind of figure out. And that's honestly, that is one of the challenging parts of wholesaling. And that's part of the journey me and Zach are always telling you about. Would you agree?
I agree 100%.
Absolutely. And real quick, speaking of which, I saw that picture of y'all fishing with the marlin. I just want to say I admire y'all for that. Y'all better than me, because I'm not the type of guy to like be out in the middle of the ocean like that. I'm gonna be from the shoreline. I'm gonna give you.
So that's a whole other story, and we'll do another video on that. So I've spent my entire life fishing. Like my dad used to drag me out like 8-10 hours a day. I mean, a rocking boat. I would get violently seasick and just. But I did love fishing. But I had my mom's kind of inner ear. And if you guys know what I'm talking about, you ever got seasick? Like seasickness it's like getting, if you've never got it, it's like getting the instant flu. So it's crazy.
But no, we have fun. We work hard, play hard. But the truth is, like anything, I had to put in, before I can go on vacation, stuff like this, like I had to put in my work. I had to put in the hours. Like you have to, you know, I look at Tom, I love Tom Brady, you know, because on the Patriots team, I can say nice things about him. He had to put in a big work. He doesn't like practice as hard as other, like, because he already has all the skill set. Like he doesn't have to go as hard, and he's a little older. But like it's kind of like that to a point where I only have to go 3-4 hours a day at most because I put in the sacrifice in the beginning. You're doing the same amount of work, right? And that's the way I always look at it. If you put in the work in now, you'll do well.
You want to hear a crazy confession, Jay? You ready for this?
I'm scared.
I'm not going to be scared. For the longest time, especially when I was a wholesaler, because like I did it by myself so long and I was supporting my family, I felt guilty when I went on vacation. Like I felt like, oh my God, the deals aren't going to get done. And I stressed. And honestly, guys, I had to train myself for a long time to get over it, because what is the point of life if you work hard and you can't enjoy like the fruits of everything you do? And honestly, it took me a long time to get over it. And it takes a lot for me to admit that. But, you know, tell me anybody on this feed that can relate. Like sometimes you go on vacation, like even you're checked out, you got an autoresponder. It's like, what am I missing out on? And it took me a long time to train my mind. By doing virtual wholesaling, I just solved that problem, because I'm just that type of person. Like I do extreme fishing. I do extreme real estate and wholesale. I don't think it's that extreme. And it just fits my personality. But like, I'm always looking to like, okay, what am I missing out? Yep. And so if you figure out how to do virtual wholesaling, or even like your local business, you can still do that virtually too and plug into that. You don't really miss out on anything. So I did the journey for a few years myself, and then I added, it just took me longer. That's just my personality. I think we all learn at a different pace. He picked it up quicker. Yeah. And you'll do the same. So.
Okay. All right. I have 2 final questions. I don't like to take time. I know everyone else is on here. So, Mr. Rick, when I talked to you a couple of days ago when you were on the live, and I talked to you about that termination list that I said that I stumbled on accidentally.
Yes.
So I got that list in. So I got that list in, but unfortunately, I don't think I'll be able to skip trace it, because She only gave me the names of the individuals that were separated from their jobs. I didn't have like an address or anything like that. So do you think I can move forward?
Names
with
are
this?
easy. Go to the property appraiser. Look up the name.
Yeah, you're just gonna have to cross-reference it,
Okay.
and hopefully they're in the county that you're targeting.
Yeah, that's really names are all I really need. Like probate, sometimes you only get the names.
And if you can
Right.
get like a middle initial, it's even better.
Oh yeah, that's money.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's, the problem is when you get like a John Smith, it's a struggle.
the common
It's like
name,
you got
yeah.
like a million hits, and even if you go to the property appraiser sites, like there's a million of them. But if you get John Jacob Smith or even John Jay,
Like
at
Rick
least you have a
Ginn?
shot.
There's
There's a lot of Rick Ginns out
yeah,
there.
but there's only like 2 or 3 in Florida. There's no other Rick Ginns within like 100 miles from me. Like it's pretty easy, right? There's like 5 or 6 Zach Ginns. Now there's probably like 20 Zach Ginns out here, but like there's like 1 or 2 in Florida, right? Like, and if I get my middle initial, it's almost guaranteed you're gonna find me. So
Jay's trying to find us a new list.
yeah, I said the termination. That's interesting.
I never heard of it. So yeah, but try that. You just have to take one extra step and cross-reference it. And hopefully if you have a middle initial, you should be able to nail it down.
Yeah.
But it's like, and then you can start with your state and then work down to your county.
I'm not an expert on every single list. I can just do the ones that I do.
Yeah.
And I found other people do well. I don't come out with like new ones. So I'd love to see more. I always tried. So yeah, I love it.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll call her and get because she couldn't give me like any other personal information, but I'm sure she could at least give me like a middle initial because she just had the first name and the last name. So I'll call her with that. Update with the water shutoffs. Also, Ms. Rick, we and I were talking about that. Found out that I can actually get that list from the public records, which I've already been doing. But she didn't give me any water shutoff. So I'm going to kind of call her and talk to her more in detail about that and see what that issue is. My final question, this is a 2-part question, goes hand in hand. So let's say we can't find an ARV for a particular property. I mean, comps for a particular property to come up with an ARV. You reverse engineer it, show it to a buyer. Hey, how much would you purchase this property for? You guys have been in a position where you've been the cash buyer. So my question to you is this. Let's say I don't have a property in the contract right now, but I don't know what the ARV is because I can't find any comps. Let's say I took pictures of the property and I sent the details like to the cash buyer, like, hey, this is a 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,500 square feet. Here are the pictures of the property. The pictures are detailed. I'm sending you all of that. It's in this county, such and such. I'm giving you everything, all the necessary information you need without giving you the address because I don't want you to, go behind my back. Would you still be able, being a cash buyer, would you still be able to kind of guesstimate how much you would pay for a property just by showing you the pictures as well as like, it's a 3-2, 1,500 without giving you the address?
Nope.
Remember, all real estate is localized
To the subdivision, to the street.
Yeah. So give me like an example, like in my local market.
It's right next to a dumpster.
Yeah, we have like the original, what we call like they call like the GDC homes. Low roofs, typical Florida home, and some of those can be 3-2 the same square footage.
But he can give the year built and stuff. That's fine. The problem is, Jay, like I don't know if the roof is new or I'm trusting you with the pictures, but I'm being completely honest. I'm like, unless I get the address, I don't think you're serious.
Yeah, and that's the other problem is they're not going to take it serious. And then I know, you think they're going to go around your back when you do it. Here's how I look at it. The buyer at the end of the day is going to tell you what it's worth. You can tell them the ARVs all you want. Like I tend to ignore them, and I'm going to verify them. But my number one qualifier when I work, especially with a wholesaler, are you serious? Do you seriously have the property under contract before I put my time and energy into this?
So if you want them to put their time and energy, you can't get the best of both worlds. Either you get it locked up or you don't. Your issue right now is you basically can't. How can you find the ARV though? I'm just trying to understand.
I mean, like that's what I'm saying. Like, because I
What's
remember
the closest house to that house?
I'm sorry.
Let's be straight up. What's the closest sold property to that house?
Without it being in the same
Closest
subdivision.
sold house. I don't care. 2015. Closest one.
So the closest property that I was able to find for this one,
Distance wise, past 5 years.
Past 5 years.
5 years.
Yes, distance-wise. I'm just asking.
So the closest property that I was able to find was, I think it was 260, the closest one. But
How far was it?
How far was it?
Yeah.
It's crossing a major road. Like if you've ever been on the maps and you can see that the major roads are highlighted with yellow, it's crossing that. But that's like the closest one that I was able to find. And I went back a year. I haven't heard anyone saying go back past the year if you need to.
Go back 2 years. When you don't have any comps, first of all, that's a warning sign. There's probably not much cash buyer activity. But second, you're going to have to expand your search. That's honestly how it works. If there's nothing in that search, you're going to have to expand it and just guesstimate. I think cash flow comps is probably going to be your best one off of this one. I mean, heck, you got to look to a point of like, what's the tax assessed value on it?
Yeah, you got to have a basis for all. Like,
Yeah,
dude, we get wild.
What's the tax
properties.
assessed value, Jay, on that property?
I didn't look at that yet.
Look at that. Okay. I mean, I think you're not looking at the right way. Honestly, I think there was a comp close enough. I mean, why don't you just lock it up? That's my opinion.
And that's what's going to lead me. That's what's leading me to my next question. And it's a fear that I have, but I got to get over it. So the next question is this, right? And this is relevant to what I was asking you. On the assignment of contract, line 12, where it says that this price may be negotiable at some point in the future.
Yes.
I noticed that line also, that line is not on the purchase and selling agreement. Do you believe it's just as important for the seller to know that, hey, we may lock it up at $100,000 now, but there's a possibility we may have to renegotiate further down the road, and that's when I bring the cash buyer in. He says, hey, I'll buy this at 80, so that means I'm gonna have to renegotiate. Should the seller know that up front when signing the agreement?
Nope. I don't tell them that because it's a 5% of the time we do that. Yeah, so why would I bring that up?
So you're going to scare more people than like get contracts signed. It's just there in case like you need it. Remember, it's all contracts. There's so many variations. It's almost ridiculous.
Well, think of this. You go to a pizza shop, right? You like pizza? What if before you buy the pizza, you have to sign something and they tell you, you know what, Jay? Before you eat this pizza, you actually might die by eating this.
You can.
And then they show you a picture of they show you about the last 10 people that died from eating rotten pizza or from an act. Would you want to buy that pizza?
I mean, we live in America, so damn near everything is unhealthy for you anyway.
Yeah, but like I'm talking like there might be poison in this.
Yeah.
Oh my God, no.
Like theoretically, I might get to renegotiate with you. I'm just gonna scare you, right?
Right.
Yeah,
like it's
you're going to use the inspection clause a whole lot more than that.
Yeah. So I would say you're just scaring somebody for a very one-off thing.
So Jay, here's what I do on these. Like I get it. The comps are hard, right? You can't figure out a starting flow. So look at the TAV like Zach looked. That's kind of like a worst case scenario.
That's tax assessed value.
Okay. And then look at the cash flow comps. The cash flow comps is figuring out what the rents are minus expenses. Although they can be honest with you, that equation only usually translates to landlords. Like there's no ones that are rural areas.
Rural areas.
Because you're not going to get that high retail because it's just based on cash. The reality is if you have properties like that.
Actually, Jay, in the private chat, send me the address.
Okay, I got you.
I'll give it to you right now.
But like when I get deals like that, guys, I make the terms wide open because if you're struggling with it, everyone's going to struggle behind you. And that should be an advantageous point to get it for a good wholesale contract price.
Let's do this too. Let's do this. Ready?
I
guarantee 100% guarantee this, that if you use the volley method, you could probably get the lowest out of the seller like right now. Like how much you're looking to sell the house for? That would give you a good guesstimate range more or less of the entire thing. I truly believe that most wholesalers I think the battery died. All right. I think we're back on. Popped off for a second. Oh, Jay?
Yeah, I'm here.
Is that better?
Yeah, I can hear you.
All right, cool. All right. I'm not used to these things, so I'm trying to get used to them. All right. Send me the address in the private chat. I can help you out. If you use the volley tech, like, did you get a ballpark range from the seller?
He said that. Jesus Christ, I have it written down here somewhere. I think he said around like, because he wanted like 250 for the property, and it sounded like retail. I didn't present him with an offer yet because I wanted to like get my comps and everything like that, but I couldn't find any of that.
What offer do you think you should be at on it?
Honestly, I'm thinking around like 160, 170, honestly, for this one. And I was on, actually, I might have to go back because I was on the property appraiser website for that address, but I didn't look at the tax assessed value. I looked at
Look at it while we're talking.
I looked at the appraisal value, and his appraisal value isn't even what he's asking for.
What is the appraisal at?
It was like 158, so 160.
Usually those are very, very low. So maybe 180 is a good offer. I think 160 is pretty good. Why not? Try it.
Yeah, I will.
You got a shot clock, man. You got to shoot.
Of course.
We've gone over this before. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
You have a pitch right now. Why don't you just swing at it? There's literally no strikes if you miss.
Gotcha.
No strikes. And guess who's telling you the thing's worth 160?
The appraisal.
No.
The property appraisal.
No. Your partner, Zach.
Okay.
He looked at it. He said, we should probably this at most for 160.
Gotcha.
All right. Your partner, Zach, just said that.
I got you. So that's good back method.
What were you going to say? Oh, my partner, Zach. You get a good call back. Hey, I was talking to my partner, Zach, and he said we need to buy this for around 160.
Okay.
Do you see how I'm not even speaking? I'm letting awkward silence go by, and then we're going to go from there. So I want you to tell that to me right now.
Got you. Okay.
Say it.
Oh yeah. So my partner Zach, he said that we're gonna have to be around like one.
No. Oh, you're in it with him. You're trying to lowball me. No.
So just say you specifically that he's at 160.
Me. You're Mr. Nice Guy. I'm Mr. Evil. I'm Mr. Money.
Got you. Okay, I see what you're saying. Okay, so talk to my partner Zach. He said he's gonna have to be at like 160 for this.
See, that was a good pause. That was a good pause. You have to be silent.
Yeah.
That's it.
Gotcha.
Oh my God, that's too low. I'm getting off the phone with you, Jay. That's him. He's crazy, right? He always wants everything for so super low, right?
Right.
That's literally the worst case scenario. He starts cussing at you, screaming at you. That's Zach. He's crazy. I couldn't find any comparables, so I asked him, and that's what he told me.
Gotcha.
What works for you? 230, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm kind of doing the math in my head, right?
And then at some point, like once he's
in the middle, 205, 200, right?
Right.
Sounds legit.
Right. Exactly. All right. Yeah, that answers all my questions.
All right. And, then you negotiate from there. Just take an action.
Absolutely. I got you. Okay.
Oh, yeah.
All right. I appreciate you, Zach. Thank you.
Okay, of course. Just understand this. The pause is the most important part. Whoever speaks during that pause, that's it. I've done 2-minute pauses before in person.
That's awkward 2 minutes.
It gets more awkward not to speak than it is to speak. So, I'm telling you, changes everything. So, yeah. Any other questions, bro?
No, I'm good. I'm good for right now.
All right. Let me know.
Appreciate it.
Practice that again. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Say it one more time. repetition.
And my partner Zach, he has to be at 160 for this property.
It's a little too much, so we're going to say this nicer, right? I was talking to my partner Zach.
I'm military, so I'm more direct.
He couldn't find many comparables around it, so I just kind of asked where he's at, and he told me if he was going to buy it with me, would probably be around 150, 160. That's what he's at. Or he told me he wanted to buy this for around 160,000. Casual, because it's not an offer. You're just seeing his reaction at that price. So let's do it one more time.
Okay.
It's him, not we.
Gotcha. So my partner Zach, he couldn't really find any comps in the area, so he's gonna have to be at around.
What's a comp, Jay? Let's get the reps in. Let's go. You're getting better by doing this. I promise you.
So do you want me to say comps too, like to the seller?
Comparables.
Okay, all right.
Actually, Jay, stop. Say it to Rick. Go say it to him.
All right.
Now you go pitch him.
We're going to tag team in here.
Pitch him.
Yeah, I'm listening. It's here to help you out, Jay. Honestly,
I got it.
This is like stuff we've learned.
If you screw up with the seller, it's going to be a lot worse than screwing up with him.
Gotcha.
So look at him. Be the seller.
Okay.
Be the seller.
Okay, I'm listening.
So, Mr. Rick, my partner Zach, he couldn't find any comparables in the area, so he's gonna have to be around like 150, 160.
Is that the best you guys can offer me?
Yes.
Can you just do a little bit more? Like, honestly, I got a number in mind, and if you can hit it, I'll just wrap this thing up. But
so he's going to have to be around 150, 160. How much would you be willing to take to close in this property less than 30 days, no closing costs, no fees, no inspections, close all in 30 days? What's the lowest you'll take?
Okay, so stop. I'm going to give you a little technique here.
Mm-hmm.
Since you've used the third party, you can't roll over and make a decision without reaching out to them again. So a lot of times, if you're doing this physically, or you can even put people on hold and call your partner, do it. Because remember, you're the good cop. Okay, listen, and here's how I always do it. Like, listen, I get it, Rick. I understand where you're coming from, and I'm actually on your side. But it's still got to make sense. My business partner, like, he's the one who kind of controls the money, and I trust his decision. And let me do this. I probably can only reach out one more time. He's going to kill me. And you're doing a volley back. The thing is, instead of you just rolling over, taking the number, because honestly, at this point, you're down to probably between $2,000 and $4,000. It's not a lot of money. Okay. But we're trying to get the best deal possible so you can easily sell this deal. You can't just go up to everyone's maxable number. I want you to understand this. You go out, you make a call, whatever it is. If you're doing it virtually, just put them on hold and reach out to your other partner. And that way you're the good cop, because if you're the good cop and you become the bad cop, your whole negotiation's gone.
So the truth is there's like 50 billion ways to do good cop, bad cop. His way works too. I do other ways where it's like, that's where he's at. What's the best he can do? I mean, he said 150. I'm pretty sure that's where we're at on this. What works for you? Okay, here's like he's a little crazy. He always wants this. And well, can you do 180? Well, he's crazy. He always wants 150. You're at 180. Why don't we just meet in the middle? And then just have him do a little higher offer, whatever. What number do you have in mind, Mr. Rick? And then you just go from there. Meet in the middle. Go from there. There's a million ways to do it. Honestly, I don't think you go wrong with it. But the way that you said that, the last time versus the first time I had you do that,
night and day.
Night and day.
And remember this, Jay, at the end, if you play hardball and go, listen, my partner was pretty firm at like 150. I don't have any more room. and say he or she says no, you can always still like take a deal. Like even after you do your kind of your bluff.
Yeah.
And go, listen, I'm going to go out on a limb here. My partner's going to kill me. But if you can take that 155, I can probably get it done. I'm probably going to get torn up for this, but I'll go ahead and do it. So even guys, when they reject you, it's not over. You're just trying to find out, have they hit their bottom line number? Are we there? Or are we just still kind of playing around and toying it? So me and Zach kind of gave you both ways to kind of go with this. It comes down to your comfort level and what makes you think you got to be authentic about it. Like but good cop, a lot of times you play good cop, bad cop. If the good cop becomes the bad cop, it can get tense quick. So you got to decide what comfort level you want. And you got to read your people. Do you know how you read them, Jay? If you're in person with them, look at their eyes.
Yeah.
Eyes, honestly, are better than verbal communication to me. I can tell if someone's going to move forward. Because if they kind of look away when you give that number, or if they just kind of look up, they're going to take it every time. If they it's when they attack back at you and you get a lot of resistance. It's
that pause. That pause is everything.
That pause. So if you guys, when you get a pause on a wholesale deal and you're going for no, look into the eyes and look up the direction. And the funny thing is, when you do hundreds of these appointments, you'll figure people out real quick. And that's without me even telling you guys, you can take it a step. You can read entire books on people's like eye movement, what it means. You can go to YouTube, you can learn all sorts of stuff with it. But read your people, because that's part of they're giving you the data back. So we talked about data earlier in your marketing. So when you do presentations, read your people and decide which way you want to go with it. Remember, even if you make a mistake, you can always go back,
I feel like we're not center. All right. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Yeah, I'm gonna take all that information in. I'm gonna think about this whole conversation we had here and just rehearse and then just go over it, get more experience talking to the sellers.
And Jay, it's like acting to the line, but it doesn't have to be perfect. If you just generally get to the gist of like what we're trying to say and put your own spin to it, that doesn't like ruin the deal, you're gonna be fine. Do whatever makes you most comfortable, but just I would say using that angle will get the lowest price. And hey, the guy might be out 250 low. Like you've seen in my lives, I sometimes do that. I get a deal, and then sometimes the guy's like, I'm stuck at 250, right? I don't know. I have to swing the bat and see what happens.
Gotcha.
It's weird, man. So like, don't get your hopes up on it, but like, swing and see, right?
Of course. All right. All right. I appreciate you. Thank you so much.
All right.
Okay. Good luck, Jay.
All right.
I'll give a shout to Jay. Jay's been wholesaling for less than I think a couple months or a month or two. Like he's in the thick of it. He's giving offers to sellers already. At a month in, right? Or like I think a month in.
Yeah.
He's already giving offers to sellers. He already has leads. Or like this is awesome, right? Like most people a month in, they're still stuck on what to do.
Yeah.
And Jay was kind of being nice to him. Like he was kind of at that. We kind of have to push him along just to go. And like you give him that little push, he's riding. Right? It's amazing.
I call it a kick in the butt. You call it a push, but this is the progression that everybody goes. It's just everybody has different speeds in it. So I remember Jay in the beginning, he was stuck analyzing numbers. I was like, Jay, you're wasting your time.
Yeah.
You got to focus on motivation. And now he's figured out the art of negotiating.
I told him, I said, you can do comps, but only if it's a legit seller who's qualified. Yeah. Now he's stuck on doing that. I'm like, hey, that's way better, right?
So, but it's a progression. Yeah. This is part of the journey. I'm telling every one of you, and it doesn't matter what route you take in wholesaling. Everybody goes through the journey. Nobody can do it for you. You have to figure out as you go. I've never met a wholesaler that has not been through this journey. And the sooner you know that up front, the better the wholesaler you're going to be.
And I think Jay had a Dragon Ball Z shirt on, or a Dragon Ball shirt the other time he was with you. You didn't know what's going on. Jay already knows this. Before you hit Super Saiyan, you got to get a little better, right? You got to get some powers, right? You got to get a little bit. Before you hit Super Saiyan, you still got to level up from there, and that's what he's doing. He's still leveling up. So I won't get that into.
Is that like Galaga when you were able to stack up and get like 2 fighters and 3
Honestly,
fighters?
if I told you what Dragon Ball Z is, you would think I'm stupid. So
I don't know.
They're basically
I was around when like
planets.
I was there when Atari came out, and I was excited. That's how old I am, guys.
Let's break it down. And what is up?
Hi guys, how are you?
I'm blessed. How are you?
I am good. I'm good. I saw the big fish, and I was like, "Whoa!" I'll probably be scared crapless.
They won't hurt you. They're just big.
They're just
It's
big.
the great
Yeah.
white sharks over here that are scary.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh,
Oh,
no,
my
oh
Lord.
no.
That scares me. Okay, nothing really scares me too much, but those things scare me.
Yeah. So I have like 2 questions. My first one is, what is the process of fire damage homes? I'm having issues finding them, but I know I have to keep, going through, I guess, relatives and things like that. And so your batch leads, will it just give me extra numbers, or do I have to go on the free people search for, to get like the relatives of the property that's burned down? Because it's been burned down, I know, for almost a year now. And it's still there, and it gets complaints from code enforcement. And I've been trying to find the owner, but I haven't, the line is busy and there's no forwarding mail. So I'm trying to figure out that process. Once I contact the owner, what is the process to sell a fire damaged home? How do I find out who buys fire damaged properties in my area?
Yeah. This is pretty simple. So there was like 6 questions in there. So I'm going to do one, and then we're going to get to the other ones. Okay. So first of all, how do you find fire damaged properties? Who goes to the fire damage properties? The fire department, right? So that's who I'd get it from. The firehouses or the fire department. The guys that fight the fires, the guys and gals, we always appreciate them. Go to them and ask them, can I get a list of all the places you've been to this week or two? I kind of pay your salary, right? That's the one I would do. You don't need a relative's information because they didn't die, right? Like their house went on fire.
Correct.
Most people survive a house fire, right? Like it's not bad. That'd be a probate. And that's obviously awful and terrible and sad. But like once the house goes on fire, I think a lot of people, this is a misunderstanding. Most people think like when a house goes on fire, the average house like gets engulfed in flames and the whole thing burns down. It's mostly like a little kitchen fire. Sometimes in the patio, they're grilling, right? Like most fires are very small. Hair dryers, microwaves, ovens, like most of them are very small.
I think hers a little bit more.
I'm talking about the average fire, right? Most people think it's like that, right? The average fire is like very small, minimal. There's always the huge ones, right? Like there's the massive ones, right? But like it's not that crazy. So I think just getting the list and then getting their phone number, and then that's pretty much it.
Okay, yeah. Okay, the phone numbers that I had, they weren't working, so I didn't see a lot of relatives and things like that. And so
why would you need the relatives?
If you can't get into contact with them, maybe you can, you guys said maybe reach out to a relative to see if they can get in contact or put me in contact.
Message them on Facebook.
Okay. I was trying to find their names. You guys say that. That's another thing. I'm not pulling the people up in my area on Facebook when I put their names in.
And if I knew your first and last name where you live, I could probably message you on Facebook pretty quick. Correct?
Okay.
Is this in your local area?
Yes, it is.
Okay. Also,
do you have their names and where they live? You just pop it in there, or like a mailing address.
Yeah, and then talk to the neighbors. They usually got more information than a lot of the skip tracing information you can get.
Yeah, and they all answer their Facebook.
They all know. They know exactly where they are because they're tired of looking at it, and they would love to give you the information to convince them to have somebody rehab that house.
Okay.
So the neighbors are very valuable. So look at both sides, like front and back. I've never met a neighbor that didn't know something about their neighbor, right?
Okay, that is correct.
So just be careful because you're going to get more than you bargain for.
Yeah,
and remember, so on regular houses, the one thing you have to be careful when you do the neighbor intel thing is that's when FOMO comes out and go, are you looking to buy the house? How much are you going to pay for it? Never, ever represent yourself as the buyer. I'm just trying to get in contact with them. That's it.
Okay. Gotcha.
And then you kind of like, I have a message for them. Like, don't lie, but you do have a message for them. Don't make up some, like, I have an urgent life-saving thing. Just say, listen, I need to reach out to them. So when you have regular houses and you do that, all of a sudden contracts, and my 20 years experience, contracts come out of the woodworks. Like it just goes out on like a messenger. So try the neighbors. I think you'll have some success there.
Okay. And that was my other question, trying to find people that I can't get in touch with. And this house, the person on record, they're out of state, and so
Okay.
the home has been vacant for, I know, at least 4 years. And so, people, they've complained on, about it being boarded up, and, people going in and out. And I am trying to get in contact with this person. The mail that I sent out before it comes, comes back to me with nothing forwarding and things like that. And so that's my other thing. I'm trying to find this person, and I don't know what else to do to try to find
on
the
the house.
like that.
Put a sticky note on the house or the door, or on the floor.
Okay.
That's it. If you can't find it, that's the best way.
Okay. Stick it on the houses of the door. Okay, gotcha. And I tried to, guys, reverse driving for dollars and stuck the note on there. A guy called me. He said it's his girlfriend place, but he didn't want to give me any information. I mean, he kept hanging up on me. And I was like, I'm trying to get the.
Does she want to sell it?
That's what I was asking him. He's like, yeah, what do you want to offer us for it? And I told him I really wanted to talk to the, owner of the place, but he just hung up on me. I was kind of a little frustrated, but I started laughing at it.
Okay. Well, message her on Facebook.
Okay, I'll try that again, because I did put her name in and nothing came up. And I couldn't find it. I found several, first and last names, but
Go to truepeoplesearch.com and then do the reverse address and put that address in there and see if her name pops up.
oh, we can put the address in Facebook.
No, truepeoplesearch.com.
Okay, yeah.
That usually works really well.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I did that. Got the addresses. 2 different addresses is showing up, but the last 2. But I will try that. And thanks, guys. I'm just trying to figure out who buys burnt houses and things like that. That's my other main thing. Who would buy a house that's been, how do I find the buyers for properties
Depends on
like
the type
that?
of fire damage property. So like I said, most of these fire damage properties are small fires. So any flipper, right, or landlord. What about a completely demolished house or something that needs to be demolished? Probably a builder, right?
Okay.
How do you find builders? Through networking, listria.com. There's a lot of options.
Okay. All right, guys. I'll let you guys. Thank you so much. I'll let you guys get to the next person, and I'll continue to listen.
What market are you in, Ann?
I am in Memphis, Tennessee.
Amazing market.
Good market.
Okay. Yeah, I got quite a few from the code violation list. I got quite a few from them, and for driving around, got quite a few. And so I'm gonna put them in, Zach, to get the phone numbers, and just bite the bullet and start calling them. I have called a few, and I've got cussed out.
Keep going.
Really bad. But, But okay, thanks, guys.
Okay.
Have a great one.
All right, bye.
Boom. All right. Persia,
Hey,
what's up?
not much. I talked to Rick earlier this week and a couple weeks ago about probates.
Why you always do when they talk to
Because you
me?
say crazy stuff sometimes.
Listen, I just speak from the heart, man.
No crazy stuff.
But you know it's authentic information, right?
Yeah, for sure. I had an additional question about it from some other probate videos I watched.
Okay.
One of your pieces of advice was to kind of spend some time studying your state's probate laws to understand the process. And I haven't really done that, truth be told. And and I think one of the things I'm running into trouble with is knowing where to look for that information. I have had a couple sellers or a couple people I've gotten to contact that are in the process who have been told by their lawyer.
State?
Texas.
All right, I'm gonna find it while you talk.
Yeah.
So first of all, if I remember, you're doing virtually probate investing, correct? Wholesale.
Yes.
Okay. So my advice is most people just deal in one state. So it's easy to kind of deep dive into your own state. And what you can usually do is go to your state website, and like the state of Florida makes it really easy. You can put in like probate and it'll pull up the statutes. It's really not even long. And it tells you from start to finish on how a probate needs to be done. And they got, like 701.30, and then it'll tell you like little particulars. Now, about 70% of it, like completely understand. About 25 to 30% of it, you're like, my God, it's like a foreign language to me. That's the stuff that I go over to my title company, and if they can't solve it, I try to involve some sort of probate attorney just so I can have a basic understanding. The problem is if you guys just reach out to a probate attorney and you don't do any research, it's like playing Monopoly and not reading the rule books. You're wasting your time, because what attorney wants to sit there is like, if you're not even going to like read the basic rules, why am I going to give you the nitty gritties of how probate works?
Sure. So this is Texas State Law Library. I put them in the private chat for you, and then for the chat for everyone else. This is pretty much from the government of Texas. We have the Texas Estates Code. We have probates, how executors work, the probate guide. Texas even has an infographics. This is legitimately from the Texas Law Library.
And most states are just like this.
Yep.
Listen, you don't have to study the
Overviews.
law. I don't want you to do that. I just like understand if you have a PR, which is a personal representative, or an executor, because this stuff alone will take you out with attorneys. They're like, oh, you don't know what you're talking about. And so I had to learn the hard way in Florida. The fact that you're doing multiple
Texas has it
states
easy.
is great. Some of the states are challenging. I'm not going to lie to you.
Well, look at this. If there's no will, it has all this stuff here, guys.
And you just go through it, like, so the whole idea of probate is just understanding the basic mechanics, because it's hard to ask a title company, or even worse, a probate attorney, detailed questions when you can't pass the basic snuff test.
Yeah.
Do you understand what I'm saying? Like anything you do, if you can't read the basic rules, why is an expert, like you're going to pay him $500 an hour to explain like what a will is? And so you got to learn like what testate is. Somebody die intestate, out of testate. That's if they die with a will or without a will. Understanding the executor, who's the petitioner is, and stuff like this. Some of the states, they're a little bit different, and you've just got to understand it, because in the end, you will be tested at some point in probates, and an attorney will test you and go, you can't do that. And this is what you do. Show me a statute says I cannot do that. And they will freeze every time. They're like, uh-oh, Persa read this stuff. I'm in trouble. And that's how I learned how to, like, not beat probate attorneys, but I call them to their own game. Yeah. So many of them says you cannot buy a probate property until the probate's complete.
Yes.
Statute so-and-so says I can file for a petition for a motion to liquidate the asset before the probate's complete. It's 703-15. Are you saying that got absolved from the books, or is there something I'm missing? That's how I discovered that you can, in most states, that you can actually buy a piece of property before the probate's complete. It doesn't absolve you of the probate. It doesn't make it any less responsible. So say if the property sold, they got $100,000 proceeds, the $100,000 just goes in the estate account. And when the probate's complete, then the $100,000 is distributed. It doesn't, like, they're not getting the money any faster, but they're not having to manage the property and go through all the headaches. You're solving a problem for them. Most attorneys want to wait till the end. Why? Because it puts them in control. It drags out hours and fees, and they hate when people shoot it. So if you guys want to beat these probate attorneys, not physically or anything like that, get the properties under contract before they try to control it. Once you have to go through a probate attorney to get consent for the contract, it's a nightmare.
Yeah.
So if you can work directly with the seller, then they go get the attorney, you're in complete control. Like they can't kick you out of the game. And so attorneys try to teach you to do it the other way so they can control the game. I cannot control what the laws are of that particular state. That's where it's your responsibility to read the basic understandings. First, start with the definitions and then try to understand the process. You're not going to understand it all. I don't want you to be a lawyer, okay? I just want you to understand. So if you have to talk to a probate attorney, you know the basic lingual so they can't spin you.
Yeah. And I think that's where I might be hitting a wall, is that I think I'm calling and talking to people after probate has started. So I think that they're all getting, all the ones I've talked to have told me I can't do that. My attorney said I can't even enter a contract till this is.
It's a flat out lie. I'm just telling you right now. I do them all the time. That's just them. The attorneys want to deal with you because you're one more moving part to the transaction. Okay. if you have so in general, I'm just doing probate across the board. This isn't going to go for every state, okay? In general, people enter into probate. That's how you get access to the list, okay? So they're all going to enter into probate, okay? A lot of them under a counsel with a probate attorney. I can't control that either. So your usual first objection is my attorney wants to review the contract, okay? My only advice to you, person, is what type of contract do you do in that event?
I haven't gotten that far yet.
Okay. So you can't use this simple wholesaling contract because 9 times out of 10, most real estate attorneys will kick that to the curb.
Well, they have a TREC in Texas.
Okay.
So I would use that. That's a standard for their commission.
So each state has a standard contract that the realtors and the attorneys agree upon. Once they see that, they're like, okay, that's fine. If he has to review a 1 or 2 page wholesale contract, they usually go, oh, no, you don't want to deal with this person. Okay. That's step one. The second part is if you can get the seller to agree, and usually their motivation has to be good. They're like, man, I don't want this property. This is becoming a nightmare. I have to mow the lawn. I have to like shovel the snow. I have to pay the utilities. I got to pay insurance. And especially if there's a mortgage, that's where I solve a problem. I go, what if I could solve all that for you right now? They're like, yeah. So that's when I show, listen, I can do a contract. We can enter that and we can actually get the property sold before the probate's complete. It doesn't absolve the probate. It just gets the biggest headache off their shoulders. Yeah. And the benefit is they don't have to pay the mortgage or keep the upkeep on the house, which drives most people nuts. Okay. You get that once there's a signed contract between you and the authorized person. By the way, most states that the executor or the PR, they are authorized to enter into a contract on behalf of that estate. Yeah. Once they do that, you have a contract just like you have a regular seller, okay? Attorneys, they'll fight you, they'll cry, they'll challenge you, but if you understand the basics of it, you can move forward with it. Most attorneys will tell you that because they're just trying to get you out of their hair, okay? So find a seller that needs your help. You can't make the seller do it, just let them option, and then I just kind of walk them through it. So once I have the contract, the attorney goes, okay, I can't get rid of this person. And that's where we said, listen, you know, she just wants to sell the property. Can you file a motion so she can sell it to the judge? That's it.
Awesome.
But you got to understand the terminology in your state. And that's why I tell you to get familiar with your states. So because you're doing it virtually, you got a little bit more homework to do. But once you figure it out, you'll be fine because you're not going to do this once. You're not going to do this twice. You're going to do this hundreds of times. So you might as well get used to it and understand it now. I had to navigate through my first 10 contracts just exactly what you're doing. And I just sat down one day. It took like it's like reading a book. It's boring. Yeah. You'll fall asleep and then you'll have to ask questions. So start with the title company, then bring in a probate attorney. Probate attorneys actually, so most of them will give you a 15, 20-minute consult. You better make your time count. You better have like 5 or 6 high quality questions. Not like, what's a will? You know, what's my state? Stuff like that. Yeah.
Perfect. Okay. Yeah. Thanks for helping guide me along the way. Really appreciate it.
Of course. You got the link, right?
Yes, I've got it and I will study.
Perfect. Okay. Awesome. All right. Okay.
Appreciate
Keep us informed.
Bye.
Awesome. All right. Next here, we got Matt.
Hey guys, how are you?
Good. What's up? How are you doing?
Doing well. I just want to say thank you so much for all the content that you guys have created. This is my day 2 of wholesaling.
I love it.
Wow.
I've been listening to your content for about 3 months, digesting it for a long time, and just decided to take action.
Good for you.
Was able to go through about 218 properties yesterday and about 198 today. Was able to find a motivated seller. The only issue with this motivated seller is the title is not clear. Her husband died of cancer and she is not on the title itself. So should I be putting her under contract before title is clear? Or
What
should
state?
I wait for this is in Texas.
And they were married?
Correct.
Legally?
Legally married. He was drawing disability from the VA, but for some reason there is a title issue on the home.
Okay. Did they buy the house before they got married or after?
I didn't get that information from her. I can, of course, go back and ask. I'm not
They
sure.
should ask, because pretty much in Texas, kind of like Florida, if you marry somebody, it's pretty much 50-50 to that point. And if you own a house and you don't have a prenup or anything like that, you're pretty much, she's the owner of the house, correct? For a lot of states.
Yeah, like I couldn't sell my house with even. So if I say I'm married 26 years. Say I get pissed off one day and I quit claim the house, like to myself or like to my son or my daughter. It doesn't matter. When I go to sell it, you have to have consent of the spouse to sell it. Most states do that to protect people so they don't do anything like crazy. I just use that as an extreme example.
Well, you shouldn't sell the house just with your signature.
Correct. And that's probably, so what I would first do is I would connect with a title company, and you're probably starting that process, and just give them the scenario without giving them, it's up to you if you want to give them the address. The other thing I would do is try to get, how long ago did she buy the house? Did they buy the house?
25 years ago.
That's a long time. Sometimes when people buy a property, they keep an original closing packet.
That's pushing.
No, I know, but you can get you can get all the paperwork.
Yes, because I don't know if they got married or not. I would have her. I'll lock up a contract with her, and then the title company have them sort it out.
Correct. So part of this is sometimes when you get these like weird ones, remember, you've done your job. You've located a motivated seller. Okay.
Yep.
Now you got to solve problems. The first problem you got to solve is locking it up so nobody else can take over that property. Yeah. Even if she doesn't have the legal authority under the contract, you need to get her mental acceptance of it. Yeah. And go, listen, I got to go and do some work. So you're going to have a wide open like inspection period, stuff like that. The reality is she can't sell it to you unless the title's clear anyways. Exactly. So that will obligate her. So I would set your closing time. I would probably set it to the end of the year just to start, just in case. And then you're going to try to close it sooner. The next thing is once you have a contract, I'm going to go over to a title company and just show them and then try to get all the data from her, find out when they got married, when the property was purchased, and present a case to the title company and see what we need to do. You might have to open a probate. You might have to do a couple things. It's no big deal. It's just a deal that you might have to come back and harvest later. But it's like if I told you to put this seed in the ground and you come back and get $1,000 bill 6 months later, would you be okay with that?
Of course.
You would. So so many wholesalers want to run and get the money today. And sometimes if you're going to be in this game in the long haul, you're going to find dozens of deals like this. Plant the seed, work it, let the professionals go to work, and you manage the data and keep it going. And the biggest thing I can tell you, say it takes 6 months, say it takes a year, stay in contact with the seller a minimum at least once a month in the beginning, once every 2 weeks to keep them on the hook.
I agree.
Sure.
And that's it. You just solve the problem. You're not going to know this all, and I don't want you to know all this. So work with the people that can solve these problems. Your job is your relationship with that seller. So just start out with a simple contract.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Yeah. And the great thing and what you guys what you're teaching is great because you're trying to find the motivation of why the seller is trying to leave their house. And this, fits in perfectly. Husband died of cancer. Her daughter lives in Alaska. She's trying to move closer to her daughter. And even if this takes 6 months, a year, I'm ultimately trying to help the seller out. So it's not about trying to make money quick. It's now I'm seeing the eyes of the seller needs help. I need to help them.
Yeah, and you'll probably get a good deal. You're helping them out. It's a rough situation, and this is what wholesalers are meant for, to solve problems. As realtors, 9 times out of 10, they will not take the time to sell it because they're not getting an instant commission. So put it under contract, work it, don't forget about it, stay in contact with the seller, and then you'll find deals that will pay you quickly within 2 to 4 weeks. And then when you put these up, they all stack up by the end of the year to hit you to your income goals.
I would lock it up with the lady, and then go with the title company and work it from there.
Perfect. Yeah, and it's been interesting talking with some of the sellers as well. Of course, end up getting on the phone with investors that are in real estate, and they're like, well, I'm in my 75 and they're going to retire in 5 years, and they have a portfolio of about 12 properties that they're looking to pawn off here soon. So I'm actually going to meet lunch with one of them this weekend. So
Cool. Awesome.
So it's been great. It's been great just taking action. That's been the biggest thing is, get over fears, just take action. Who cares what they say? Just keep doing it over and over and over.
Yeah, so you watched us for 3 months and you figured taking action and seeking motivation is the first step to really like being effective in wholesaling. That's it.
Yep.
It's not complicated. I keep telling everybody on here, it's not complicated. You just got to do it. That's why so many courses are sold. The more complex you make it, the more they can charge for it. So keep doing exactly what you're doing. Don't quit. Just get all the way through day 30, and then you can go deeper in the modules from there, and then you can connect with us one-on-one here anytime.
That's perfect. I appreciate it, guys.
Okay,
Awesome.
keep it going,
Appreciate
man.
it,
Good job.
Boom. All right, let's answer some questions. All right, let's get it going, guys. Remember, if you want to learn wholesaling for free, go to freewholesaling.com. If you want to send us a deal, just go to www.flipwithrick.com/JV with me to JV your wholesaling deals with us. www.flipwithrick.com/JV with me. Send us some JV deals. And let's kind of answer some questions really quick. Let me put the link in for everyone on the bottom. If you want to send us some deals, and let's talk about it. All right, so quick question here. Let's see. One-on-ones, guys, are in wholesaling houses for real. How do I get it? Just go to wholesaling houses for real, go to the feature section. It's right there. Olivia says, if someone passed away 20 years ago and still on the deed, how does that play out for probate?
It's just a probate. Either most probates you're going to catch somebody died within. Okay. Most probates you're going to catch within 90 to 180 days of passing, right? That's the responsible way to do it. They go through probate so they can pass the property down so somebody can sell it correctly. A lot of times in these cases, 20 years, but once it gets past, in my opinion, once it gets past 5 years, nobody cares. They just don't care. Why do they care? Because a wholesaler reaches out to them and says, listen, I see your property. I do have interest in something. They go, yeah, I could sell it, but it's in my mom's name. She passed away 5 or 10 years ago. And I'm not going to pay the legal fees. The property's a train wreck.
Yeah.
And that's where you come in to solve a problem. So what you can do is, once again, you've got to have a basic education on working with the title company and maybe a probate attorney, but the property at some point is going to have to go through a probate process. You would be surprised how many people will skip the probate process. A lot of times it's as little as $1,500 and there's $50,000, even $80,000 in equity. You're a smart girl, Olivia. You can figure out how to put these deals together to make them work. I constantly work with probate attorneys, put up the legal fees, anywhere from $300 to $800 for me to come back and harvest a $50,000 profit. How you do that is you're doing it on a contingency fee. They'll earn a little bit higher fee when it closes, and they'll help you navigate through all the stuff you don't understand. But remember, you got to get a smoking deal to do that, because if you're going to risk your money, you have to have like an 80% probability it's going to close. Forewarning, it will take a little bit of time, but it's well worth it. In the time you're waiting, if the property's in good shape, you can rent it out for income. You can do all sorts of things to offset it out. Yeah. If you could do a temporary rent for it and collect $1,500, cover the attorney fees and let them know it's month to month, give them a discounted rate. And if it takes 6 months, you can come back and you might, I don't know, you're definitely going to make a great fee on it. And, you're solving problems by doing it. It's really good. This is where I give it to a probate attorney and say, listen, what's the probability of this being successful? I'm looking for 70% or higher. If you don't have the money, partner up with someone that will do that and show the data with them. And these deals exist all the time. Just like Matt before, it's like planting a seed, coming back and picking up $1,000 bill 6 months later. If you plant enough of those seeds, you'll make a lot of money. So many wholesalers want that one-time hit, and I'm here to tell you, if you're in the game long-term, you got to solve problems just like this.
Perfect. Other questions really quick.
Mhm.
Diamond says, can anyone tell me the perfect time to cold call? 2 to 7 p.m. Local time. And then does anyone have any advice on needing an LLC? Don't get an LLC unless you do 2 real estate wholesaling deals. That's what we say, and that's how you do it, guys. Do me appreciate. All right. First of all, someone's saying the one-on-one isn't in the Facebook group, so I love seeing it. All right, let's check. Let's go to the Facebook group. I like when people. All right, so I'm in Wholesaling Houses for Real. Click featured. Streamer link right here. Boom. Thank you, anonymous plug. I love doing that. All right. So, guys, we will see you Sunday. So, actually, I'll be here today. So, oops. I think I'm clicking buttons today. All right. See you guys Sunday. We'll have some recorded videos out tomorrow, obviously Saturday, and then I'll go live Sunday, you Monday, and then back to the regular schedule lives on Tuesday in the United States of America. Really appreciate it, guys. Do me a favor, smash that like button and subscribe. Go to freewholesaling.com to learn everything you need about wholesaling real estate. And we'll see you guys soon. Have a blessed one. See you guys